Welcome to Play, Pause, Turn. In this podcast, we discuss all things to do with TV, films, games and literature. We give our thoughts on the media we've been enjoying, old or new, and comment on anything topical. We're hoping to record bi-weekly, and you can find us in the podcast player of your choice by searching for Play, Pause, Turn, or go to the URL playpauseturn.show, and there you can listen and enjoy more of our well-informed irreverence. Here's a little teaser of what's to come in the show. We're going to be talking about a recent re-release or a recent recut of a film called Zack Snyder's Justice League. What were your general feelings, Amy?
I really enjoyed it. I'm the person whose main method of measuring how good a film is whether or not I've fallen asleep. Like many people. And for this, out of a 4-hour film, I only fell asleep ever so slightly once when it was very late. So for me, that's a good film.
Awesome. Alex?
At 4 hours, it breaks the sort of bladder test at the moment. So yeah, I think that's something that you should go in being aware of.
Is that an age thing, Alex?
It's something
you think, rather than a length of the film thing.
No, I don't think it is an age thing. I think it's perfectly normal. Saying that, I think it is. You know, I don't want to put you off. I think it's the definitive version of Justice League.
Bobby, how about you?
I absolutely loved it.
A few minutes later.
The other thing that listeners will get to know as episodes of this podcast go is that I will be asked a question and it will take a very long time for me to answer it.
I'm very happy for you to skirt around these questions, Bobby. It's fine.
So I was really impressed by the Cyborg arc completely. I thought it was really good. What did you guys think?
I think you're right, Alex. For me, I like the fact that it was the central core of the film. I think it's what made the film make so much more sense. There was a proper reason for all this happening that I just couldn't see in the original film. What about you?
Yeah.
Everyone else?
I just like seeing Cyborg's dad, because I used to love watching Eureka, and your man from Eureka turns up and he's got a robot for a son, and technically that could be canon.
One character I was really pleased that they cut out of this film was Henry Cavill's moustache. Because
no moustache game.
In the Joss Whedon cut, that was so distracting and it was just lazy CGI. Yeah, Darkseid just looked like some tramp that was stuck behind a portal.
Yeah, like a sort of weird dustbin on his head. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see more of Darkseid, and maybe that we'll see more of. Maybe it's a different outfit. Go back to his wardrobe and try a different cape or something. But
that was meant to be Justice League 2. He goes to Taylor and gets himself set up, and then he comes and conquers Earth. So.
Oh, and then Darkseid becomes the first guest of the next season of my podcast. There you go. Tailoring Talk.
That's
with
it.
Me, Roberto Rivella, and I'm joined this week by Darkseid.
hello. As I'm sure you have, dear listeners, we have finished watching the TV series on Disney Plus, which is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
For some, what I found interesting was obviously he rejects the mantle, then he sees what it becomes when he's done that, and he's seen not necessarily damage, but you know what that shield represents in the wrong hands. So it's not just like one thing that makes him change and become Cap. It's a gradual evolution of him, and that's what I enjoyed about his arc.
And I think we should give the writers more credit than they've got, really, because there's a lot of nuance in this that you just wouldn't normally get in a superhero series. And yes, I had my issues with it, but I really thought the writing on some levels was really good. There are lots of stories in it, weren't there, really? I mean, you've got the Flag Smashers storyline, you've got Black Captain America, you've got Sharon Carter, we've got John Walker's sort of rise and fall and then sort of semi-rise again. We've got Bucky's, redemption story. And I think they're all really good stories.
Shall I explain what the Thunderbolts are? Or?
Yeah,
he's the Red Hulk, isn't he?
So the Thunderbolts are kind of the Marvel version of the Suicide
Squad, yeah.
So they're run by General Ross, who's played by William Hurt in the MCU. There is another section called Dark Avengers. This is going a bit long, but I'll try and be quick as I can. So Secret Invasion, which John just talked about, is a story...
Settle in, folks. Settle in.
Yeah, settle in. I will be as quick as I can, I promise.
A few minutes later.
That they're going to start filming this
blimey.
year as well.
I mean, we're down the rabbit hole now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, which I won't talk about Armour Wars now, that's fine. But so I think there's a lot there. They're also doing an Ironheart series as well, which is Rhiari Williams,
So,
who is
Bart,
the new
but
Ironheart.
we're going a bit off topic here. And
Sorry, I'll stop talking now because my sad knowledge of comics, sorry.
So our topic today is, should you buy an electric vehicle, an EV, in 2021?
We were having a discussion about how much range is enough range, but the figures varied wildly, but they were all enormous. Like there was no one who wanted less than 250 mile range, including us, which was surprising because we happen to all be EV drivers. I love listening to Robert Llewellyn. Robert Llewellyn has been harping on about electric vehicles for a long time. We went to a conference where he was talking.
It was called London Geek Fest, and it had loads of different people speak. I've always loved Red Dwarf, and we thought, Robert Llewellyn speaking, that'll be interesting. Little did we know that he would cost us thousands of pounds.
Got to some industrial estate somewhere near Newbury, with about 17 miles left on the range, hopefully trying to charge a car. We obviously couldn't charge it there, so we just carried on driving for the next one. We were in the middle of the countryside with 2 miles left on our clock, on our driving down a dirt track.
I mean, that's squeaky bum time right there.
Yeah, I mean, both our kids learnt some new words in the car that day, that's for sure.
I think that we've also got to remember how far 200 miles is, because the thing is, in the UK, it's not that big a place. So
that will get me to my friends in Monmouth in one charge.
Yeah,
because they're 190 miles away. So if I live in Kent, I can get to Monmouth, which is just in the outskirts of Wales. That's the dream, really, because that's for us. That's the furthest we generally go, and I think it's a very reasonable range for that price, actually.
What we've got to do is try and give people a useful carrot. So people always think about the negative, but you actually need to say, look, this journey, it's costing you 50p. It normally would have cost you about 15 quid. Is that all right? And